Hello everyone, welcome to Trades Talk. I am your host, Pop Culture Mechanic. You can just call me Pop. And in this stream, we look at things from an industrial point of view. So if you're interested in the skilled trades, wanting to know how to get into them, want to know what to expect, want to know why to get into them, then stick around. And I can answer all of those questions for you. But as I so often do, I'm going to start out with some of the news out in industry. You can sort of tell how well things are going by checking the news, finding out which corporations are shutting things down, or if they're building new things, they need to hire people. That's what we're going to have a look at. But first off, I'd like to welcome David Glenn to the stream. Nice to see you, David. If you guys have any trades questions, please feel free, shoot them my way, and I will try to answer them as best I can. All right, let's get on with the news. That, and there we go. Just having a quick cursory glance here, and this one kind of struck me. Some Ontario plants hit the brakes. Are Canada's EV ambitions under threat? Excuse me. Still trying to get over that last bit of a cough I have. I've said it before. You can't force everybody into EVs by setting a date and saying, oh no, you have to be driving an EV by this date. Let people do it if they want to, but leave other people alone if they're going to drive their internal combustion engine cars. But let's see what this says, because this might be the auto industry fighting back because they know that they're not having that great a luck with sales. The plant was expected to produce batteries for 1 million electric vehicles a year. Once up and running, it was supposed to create hundreds of permanent jobs in small southeastern Ontario municipality. It was Prime Minister Moron that said at the time, big news that Belgium-based Umicore chose Loyalist Township for its battery component production facility. Evidence the federal and provincial government said of success in the quest to make Canada a global electric vehicle production hotspot. So somehow I doubt that's going to happen. I'm sure it's going to be China. But 2 years later, spending on construction of the Umicore plant has been delayed in what the company calls a significant worsening of the EV market context. It's not the only EV project facing delays, despite billions in public subsidies on offer. Trudeau's Liberal government, which promised to end the sale of gas vehicles by 2035, is getting long in the tooth, and consumer demand is slowing amid political uncertainty. Well, of course it is. I mean, what an idiotic thing to say. You got 10 years and they're going to stop the sale of gas vehicles? Only that idiot would promise that, and I hope he gets kicked out in the next election. Him and his stupid forcing people to do things. Experts suggest these are the growing pains of an industry that needs more time to develop, but that's not much comfort to the mayor of Loyalist Township, home to some 18,000 people near Kingston, Ontario. It was a very concerning announcement for the entire community, Jim Hagedorn said in an interview at the local town hall after Umicore said in late July it would delay spending on the construction of its facility. Hey, what's up, tits? Filthy joke of the day. What sound does a penis make when it goes erect? A whine. That was bad. David, you're ready for him? I don't know if anybody can ever be ready for tits. The plant was previously expected to begin production in 2026 and create around 600 jobs. Some construction work, such as pouring concrete and installing pipes, has already been done. Hagedorn said the company has made promises to fulfill existing construction contracts. The mayor said he hopes Umicore factors in Canadians' strong desire to shift towards EVs as it decides on the plant's future. Honestly, I don't see this strong desire to shift towards EVs. I don't think anybody where I work drives an EV, and nobody ever talks about getting one. So this sounds like a big lie, but I bet it's because the mayor and was getting money from the federal government, so he probably has to say that. Internal combustion just makes more sense for colder climates like Canada and Alaska. Yes, David, it does. In Alaska, they run diesel engines as well, but they don't ever turn them off. They just, when it gets really cold, you just let them run. You never turn them off. You fill them up, and you just let them run. So it's there's no way you're having an EV vehicle up there in the north. Real decisions need to be made on the prediction of what will be needed 5 years from now, 10 years, 20 years from now, he said. In a recent statement, Umicore said customers' demand projections for its battery materials have steeply declined recently. That's probably because they fudged the numbers. I'm pretty sure they're like, oh yeah, this is our prediction, and this is going to be awesome. Everyone's going to want a battery for their vehicle. And no, they were just pie in the sky dreams, thinking that it was going to go that way, and it didn't. Oh, and Wyoming. You think EVs would be great, but we're just not there yet. Yeah, I agree too, Tits. We're just not there yet. Yes, battery tech has to advance a couple of levels before EVs really become viable. They sure do. It has to be like a superconductor or something like that. Something that operates well in the cold. So if they can do something like that, where you can have like a superconductor, it gets cold, the electricity flows easily, it doesn't have a hard time generating that current. But they gotta work on that. Hagedorn called the review a positive step, hoping the outcome would revitalize the project in his hometown. Ottawa and the provinces have been betting big that shoring up Canadian supply chains is important to the country's economic future. Since October 2020, 13 companies have announced a combined investment of $46.1 billion in EV-related projects in Canada, with governments pledging to provide $52 billion worth of support via construction and production subsidies and tax credits, according to an estimate by the Parliamentary Budget Officer. So the government is spending more money than the companies are. The government is spending taxpayers' money to subsidize this. So to me, this is idiotic. The government shouldn't be subsidizing it because then that gives you them a false sense of that it's working. You have to let the private companies do it, go out on a limb, and see whether they can be viable without the support of government. Government money, anyway, which is the people's money. Ontario Premier Doug Ford has regularly touted his province's plan to create an end-to-end EV supply chain that also prioritizes mining critical minerals crucial to battery production. What about recycling those batteries? What are they going to do? What are you going to do when those batteries run out? You going to strip them down? You going to recycle them? Or are you just going to deep well them and hope they don't come back to bite you? Umicore is not the only firm to hit the brakes, even though nearly $1 billion worth of its own subsidies are on the line. Ford has opted to delay its production of electric SUVs in the Oakville, Ontario assembly plant from next year to 2027. The American automaker now says it will produce 100,000 gas-powered Super Duty trucks at the plant starting in 2026. What an about face. You're going from electric to Super Duty trucks, which are like F-350s or F-450s. Big engines. Diesel and gas, I'm sure. EVs just can't match gas. It has to exceed gas. You got to see 1,000 miles or 1 billion Canuck miles, or it's a no-go. 1,000 miles is 1,600 kilometers, tits, just so you know. They already deep well. Okay. Old wind turbines, that's not green. Those things are bad too. They kill birds and they disturb the groundwater. So wind turbines aren't the way to go either. Spokesman said Deep explained that the decision means Canadian employees will return to work at the plant earlier than expected and help meet demand for the pickup trucks. He said the company is still committed to EVs. As long as it's profitable, I'm sure. The production of zero-emission vehicles tied to a $1.8 billion investment at the Oakville plant could net the company some $590 million in subsidies, paid government money, taxpayer money, going to a private company. Greg Mordew, an associate professor of engineering and the chair of advanced manufacturing policy at McMaster University. So this is some professor at a university who probably hasn't stepped foot inside a freaking outside of his office. Probably never seen the floor of a operating a vehicle plant. Said he expects the Canadian industry to start being productive, but much later than originally advertised. The one good thing he said is that most of the public spending is attached to production. Many Canadian consumers aren't yet ready to transition to electric vehicles due to concerns that include range anxiety, lack of charging infrastructure, and affordability. Well, those last two. Affordability, yes, because the average one costs like $70,000. And lack of charging infrastructure, again, yes. There is none. There is no charging infrastructure. First, you have to upgrade your electrical grid to support all this charging you want to do. So good luck with that. Hamster wheel generators are the true wave of the future. Yeah, there you go. We'll just hook up a bunch of hamsters. He added that manufacturers outside China have struggled to build electric vehicles for prices people can pay. Yeah, but you don't want the ones that China builds anyway because they start on fire and they're garbage made. Cry havoc. Let's slip the guinea pigs. Consumers aren't as interested in the most optimistic prognosticators forecast 2, 3, 5 years ago, he said. A study published by J.D. Power, a company tracking consumer data, reported in May that significantly fewer Canadians said they were considering buying an electric vehicle. Of course! I mean, talk to anybody, and they're just like, no. Why? I can get a gas-powered vehicle for half the price. Can't just plug them into a socket. Exactly. Godzillionaire, how you doing? It's pronounced China. China. Only 11% of just under 3,000 Canadian shoppers said they were strongly considering buying an electric vehicle, which is less than half of the 24% of U.S. respondents who expressed strong interest. It's easier in the U.S., especially in the southern United States, where it's nice and warm. Batteries like the heat. You know, they don't have to worry about it as much as the cold. So they're going to do a lot better with their, especially if they're in a flat area with not a lot of hills. More Canadians said they are very or somewhat unlikely to consider an EV for their next purchase. The study suggests the percentage went from 53% of respondents in 2022 to 67% last year and 72% this year. We're still selling more, said Robert Carwell, the director of J.D. Power's Customer Success and Data Analytics Division. The rate of growth in the curve for EVs as they penetrate the marketplace has slowed down, but it's still growing. Brendan Sweeney, the managing director of the Trillium Network for Advanced Manufacturing, said there's still a long way to go before the Canadian market can meet Ottawa's goal of ending the sale of gas guzzlers by 2025. That's a pretty ignorant way of saying, internal combustion engine. Gas guzzlers, I can see if they were from the 60s or 70s, but with fuel injection and the way they build the engines now, even my V8 car gets, around town, I get 11 liters per 100 kilometers. I know that doesn't mean anything to you guys. I know it's miles per gallon. Let me just get the old conversion here. Come on. There we go. Liters 2 mile per gallon. So I get roughly 11 liters per 100 kilometers. And that's 21 miles per gallon. And that's a V8 car. Like that's great, I think. And that's just driving around in the city. When I'm on the highway, I get 9 liters per kilometer. That's 26 miles to the gallon. I mean, I'm thinking that's great. So this guy saying gas guzzlers, that's being very disingenuous. Just an ignorant way of talking. But the cars don't gas guzzle anymore. When California was having electrical emergencies last summer, they were draining EVs plugged into the grid to load balance. It's like them coming to your home with a siphon hose. Wow. Buick Electra 225. I've heard of that car before, David. Electric cars can only make sense if you don't have far to commute. If you have a drive, and it's kind of useless. Yep, I agree, Godzillionaire. Because I've moved to a different house now, my commute is only about 6 kilometers, which is, what is that? Roughly 4 miles. It's only 4 miles to work. So it would make sense for me to have one, but I'm not going to get one anyway. I don't care. The 41 Ford you inherited from your father isn't even a gas guzzler. There you go. Yeah, that's why I said 60s and 70s when they had the those big cubic inch engines. You went to Kanukistan once. They sold gas by the effing liter. Yes, they do. It's by the liter here, tits. This is part of our 10, 15, and 20-year transition. We're like 2 years and 3 years now, he said. In the global race for EV supremacy, he said, doing nothing was not a very good option. Still, Sweeney speculated that many companies are stalling their projects for political reasons. I don't think it's political reasons. I think it's because money. Also, what are gas companies going to do? What's your oil refineries going to do? All these gas stations are going to close up. I don't think they're going to like that very much. Don't you think they're going to step in and do something? Or do these oil companies now own electric vehicle manufacturing? I don't get it. Like, you'd think the oil companies, because they're very powerful, would step in and be like, no, we're not doing the electric cars anymore. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre, who is polling far ahead of Trudeau, has not specified his approach to EV subsidies. The federal election is slated to happen by October 2025. Oh, I gotta wait till next year. Oh, man. Trudeau has dubbed the investments a strategic decision on a nascent industry. Yeah, he's also a moron. He's a failed drama teacher. So that should tell you all the qualifications he has. You think you'll start calling kilometers maple miles? Sounds good to me, tits. I like that. The whole war on oil is so stupid. These activists don't realize just how much else is made out of oil, like plastic. Yes, Godzillionaire. How many gallons of oil goes into making your tires for your car? How much oil goes into the plastics in your car? You're right. Activists are stupid. They don't know anything. All they know is protest. Because I'm told to. Because I'm so righteous and I feel so committed to my message that you have to stop oil. Well, then, if you're going to stop oil, you're going to stop everything. So maybe do yourself a favor, pull your head out of your ass, and look around a little bit. Don't just do what people say. Just because they pay you, and I know there's a lot of paid activists out there, because you and I can't take days off from our job to go and protest. Because, first of all, I'd lose my job. Second of all, I would lose my money instead of making it that day. So these guys must be paid activists. And I think they should be locked up because they are not doing anything worthwhile. The oil companies just make more plastic. Yeah, you call Trudeau blackface Castro. He cried when Castro died. Nobody else cried when he died. The guy looks just like him. His mother fooled around with him. He must have. They went and visited him. So women will fight stop oil once they realize oil makes makeup. Yeah, so true. So true. We are making the right bet on the future, he said, at a news conference in Napanee, Ontario this summer. Loyalist resident Scotty Shremby said he needs that gamble to start paying off soon. Said his father, an electrician, works about a 7-hour drive away in Windsor and is only able to visit his family once every 2 weeks. Those jobs at Umicore could bring his dad home, Shremby said, but he is not holding his breath. I mean, sounds to me, if you're 7 hours away for a commute, like, move closer. Like, honestly, that's just freaking stupid. 7-hour drive. I feel like most of the time they delay it. He said the promise that an electric vehicle boom could bring more jobs to the community is a lot longer than what they say. Yeah, first of all, you're believing what the government says. All the government can do is spend your money. They can't really do anything to create jobs. They can just spend your money, and that's it. Anyways, that's what that is. That's that. They're shocked that the EV isn't happening as fast as they thought it would. So maybe once again, look around. Don't just ask your friends if they would buy an EV. Go out there and I'm talking about these guys that are in the government and all that. Maybe talk to actual real Canadians and Americans. Anyways, that's enough of that one. Norbeck opens first manufacturing plant in Ontario. I don't know what Norbeck is. Anybody else hear of Norbeck before? Norbeck, the North American manufacturer of insulated metal panels, walk-in coolers, and freezers, opened a new $45 million manufacturing plant in Strathroy, Ontario in September. It's Norbeck's first plant in Ontario and the third in Canada, alongside its facilities in Boucherville and Saint-Hyacinthe, Quebec. Disappointed Greta face. Yeah. Kitty Bear, been a long time, man. Good to see you. Good evening and good night. Yes, I do appreciate you stopping by, and I'm glad you're here. Hope things are going well in the Netherlands. They made that up. The 156,000 square foot facility took 14 months to complete. Once fully operational, the new plant will create 70 new meaningful jobs for local workers, from plant managers to production operators, engineers, and maintenance staff. Hey, that's me. I'm maintenance staff. Norbeck is committed to being an employer of choice, offering our employees a modern and comfortable workplace that embodies our commitment to quality and innovation. And we are immensely proud to be opening our first plant in Ontario today, said Jan Lembrechts, president of Norbeck. With its proximity to London and Sarnia, also known as Chemical Valley, this new plant will establish Norbeck as a go-to local supplier in Ontario to help establish Middlesex County as a leader in specialized architectural manufacturing. This facility represents a significant step in our growth strategy, allowing us to better serve our customers in Ontario and the booming Midwest U.S. markets. The company says the expansion is a step in Norbeck's growth strategy aimed at better serving customers with an innovative and broader product range. Okay. Good for you guys. What else we got here? Hammond Power Solutions acquires Micron Industries. Lafarge and Geocycle open low-carbon fuel plant in Nova Scotia. Well, Lafarge, for those that don't know, is like one of the biggest cement companies in Canada. The new plant will divert approximately 14,000 tons of waste away from the landfills annually to be pre-processed into low-carbon fuel, minimizing the Brookfield cement plant's reliance on traditional fossil fuels. I have a problem with them calling it fossil fuels. There has yet to be any proof provided to me that you can get oil out of that fossils turn into oil. I need proof. I need something, an experiment to show me that fossils turn into oil. Maybe it sounds dumb on my part, but don't call them fossil fuels. Just call them petroleum. As good as it can be, you've been busy gaming the past weeks. Right now, you're tired, so you're closing your eyes as you listen. Okay, that's fine, kitty bear. Hope you've been playing some fun games then. Lafarge Canada and Geocycle Canada, members of Wholesome Group and the Department of Natural Resources Canada, Office of Energy Research and Development, announced the opening of Geocycle's first low-carbon fuel plant in Canada. A more than $10 million facility located at the Lafarge plant, Brookfield Cement Plant in Nova Scotia. The project received $3.53 million from the federal government Energy Innovation Program, created to advance clean energy technologies to support Canada's transition to a low-carbon economy. There's another thing I got a problem with. Low-carbon economy. Of all the stupid things to come up with. Fallout 76 on the fun Bugfesta game. On the one. One of the fun Bugfesta games. Okay, nice. When in full production, new plant will divert approximately 14,000 tons of waste from the landfills. Yes, we already read that at the top. It is expected that this will reduce carbon emissions at the plant by more than 12,000 tons per year, equivalent to taking 13,000 passenger vehicles off the road. Low carbon economy equals money laundering. Thanks, Godzillionaire. That's exactly what people need to hear out there. When they hear low carbon economy, think money laundering, because that's what it is. As Geocycle's first of its kind in the country, the low-carbon fuel plant will take waste products like non-recyclable plastics and soon construction and demolition waste materials from local sources, turning into low-carbon fuels to make cement, and ultimately the concrete used in construction projects in the area and beyond. The new facility is also expected to create jobs in the local Nova Scotia economy. The plant commissioning started in June 2024 when Lafarge and Geocycle teams initiated their work with local manufacturers and materials recovery facilities to collect their waste to be pre-processed at the new facility. They don't say how they're going to turn it into low-carbon fuels. Take waste products like non-recyclable plastics and construction and demolition waste materials. So that's wood and concrete and stuff like that. Non-recyclable plastics. I mean, are you going to chop them up? What are you doing? You're going to just turn them into powder and dump them into the concrete, the cement process? Because you can do that. And turning it into low-carbon fuels. I don't know what that means. They really are terrible at describing things clearly for people to understand. So once again, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it until they come out with a better description and explanation as to what is going on. What are they doing specifically? Imaflex appoints new president, CEO. I don't care. GM workers at the Cami plant, auto plant ratify collective agreement. There you go. So, I'm assuming this is the... Yeah, Unifor says workers at GM Motors Cami Assembly Plant and Battery Facility in Southwestern Ontario ratified a new collective agreement. There you go. Nice. Unifor President Lana Payne says new contract squeezes 3 years of wage gains into the 2-year life of the deal, providing a 15% wage hike for production workers and just over 20% for skilled trades. Whew, that's a lot. Damn. Union says the plant's 1,300 auto workers will receive an immediate 10% pay bump, followed by an increase of 2% next September and 3% in July. Payne says the agreement aligns employees at CAMI with the union's negotiating timeline for the rest of the Detroit 3 automakers, lending it more bargaining power for its 5,600 GM members in the future talks that will take place simultaneously. Workers at CAMI had delivered an overwhelming strike mandate with 97% in support of job action if agreement was not reached. Based in Ingersoll, Ontario, the plant is the only large-scale electric vehicle manufacturing facility in Canada, building the Chevrolet BrightDrop EV600 and EV400. Good for you guys. You got the company to ratify. Or you ratified the... So good. It was fun till this afternoon. Some idiot claimed I was racist for placing a sign with the word blacksmith above my shelter with an arrow pointing down. They reported you. Blacksmith? It means you work with metal. That's all that means. Somebody's an idiot. DJ Ronnie G! How you doing, DJ? You home now? You time to start your weekend? Hey, it's Veritex! Hey, Veritex. Once again, if you guys have any trades questions, fire them my way. Just put them in the chat. I'll try to answer them if I can. I'll do it to my best of my ability anyway. So, yeah. Feel free. But that's it for the news. I think that's all I want to go through. That EV one really got me all riled up. I get sick and tired of it getting jammed down my throat about how we have to switch over to EVs. I think once Prime Minister Numbskull gets kicked out of there at the next election, that we'll get somebody in there with a little more common sense on their head, and we can do that. We can do a better job at getting things sorted out and leave people alone. Just having a drink of tea there, gents. All right. I bet they think farrier's a type of freight. Yeah, exactly. You think blacksmiths specifically worked with iron because iron was black, because smiths were silver? That makes sense, Veritex. As far as I remember, Paul Revere was a silversmith, apparently. If I know my American history at all. 127001 Suite, 12001 Home Sweet Home. There you go. He claimed I wanted black people in the basement. So yes, a person missing too many brain cells. What a numbskull. Oh man. Some people. Sheltered or what? Read a book, for God's sake. You don't pretend to understand Canadian politics, but the laws of entropy tell us that things tend downhill. Yes, Veritex, they do. When does Pierre Polytechnic take over? Hopefully next October in 2025. There was a time silver was valued higher than gold. I knew that, Veritex. Yes, exactly. I knew that. And what happened? It was I think it happened in 1873. I might have my years wrong. But the people that owned the gold wanted it to be more valuable than silver, so what did they do now? They made it so that gold was only legal tender, not silver. It's called the crime of 1873, I think. You guys might want to look that up. But I think they did something to make gold more valuable than silver because they owned the majority of the gold and they wanted it to be worth more. So I do like looking up monetary history, and there's a good guy to watch on YouTube called Mike Maloney, and he has this 7-part series called The Hidden Secrets of Money. And if you watch that, he explains everything from 5,000 years ago when they started using gold up to the present, how the banking system works. He's great. I learned a lot from him. Among many military decorations, a silver-colored award was higher than a gold one. Ah, nice. Yes, Kitty Bear, stockpile it. I agree. Anyways, let's move along to the next article I got here. This is from the Sioux Star, and I believe it's from Sault Ste. Marie, which is in Ontario. But there's also one in the U.S., Sault Ste. Marie. They flooded the market and crashed the price of silver. It never recovered. Ah, yes. Thanks, Tits. Very good. We don't have enough people. Labor shortage hits close to home for Springer Aerospace. Owner Vic Fremlin says there's ample room for 50, preferably local, new employees with various skills. But like so many enterprises that bank on skilled employees, the Echo Bay aircraft maintenance and repair business is in need of staff. If you want a crime, look at diamonds. They aren't rare. They keep most of the market. And I've heard that they burn them. If they find too many diamonds, they're just carbon, so they just burn them. And now they make artificial diamonds and sell them as, they're still as expensive as real diamonds. And I'm like, if you're making this in a freaking furnace, this thing should be like a third of the price or a quarter of the price. You're making a fake diamond. So I have a big problem with that. They want to do stuff like that. Is it lost on you that Springer is the name of one of the Generation 2 Transformers? He was a triple changer, if I recall. Helicopter, a car, and a robot. But I remember Springer. They don't make him that way anymore? No. Nope. The lab-created diamonds are not as the same, at least not here in the U.S. It's about 30 to 40% cheaper when we look for wedding rings. Okay. You know Sault Ste. Marie? She works the truck stop slots in Windsor, and it's down to tube teeth. Oh, tits! Always with the zingers there. Yeah. Vic Fremlin, who along with his brother Tom put $5.5 million into the operation in early 2023 to keep it going, after Springer came close to closing, said the new owners, known as those behind North Shore Tractor Limited and Lock City Dairy, want to recruit locally. Currently, the business has about 50 employees. Fremlin said he'd like to bring another 50 on board as soon as possible. So he wants to double his workforce. That is crazy. We would like to hire local if we could, Fremlin told the Star in an interview, but it's a big undertaking to find that many people. Employees have been recruited from across Canada, the U.S., and internationally. Many who come here from elsewhere don't stay, Fremlin said. They did to come for only 6 or 8 months on a contract and leave, he added. We'd like to train our own, so they will want to stay here. Among positions to be filled, Springer requires people in the areas of fabricating, electronics, paints, and parts. It's all mechanical stuff, said Fremlin, adding wages are competitive. Some positions require trades, while other posts can be learned on the job. Springer is willing to train, Fremlin said. It helps with a diploma, he added. Then they might move up quicker. We don't have enough people. That seems to be the problem all around. Ontario has said one of the most critical labor shortages in its skilled trades. The provincial government estimates that 100,000 additional workers will be required in the trades over the next decade. I would plan over the next year or maybe 2 years. Don't just go by the decade. Fremlin said there's no lack of demand for Springer services. Right now we're in positive cash flow, not in a negative one like they were, said Fremlin, referring to the company's earlier woes. We'd had a lot better off and we could move ahead faster. We could expand. Good jobs that we turned down, we wouldn't turn down. Fremlin recounts how Springer Aerospace was more than $5 million in debt when he and his family stepped in, ensuring the enterprise remained locally owned and operated. Dan Springer, a Fremlin neighbor for decades, continues to run the operation he founded in 1972. Fremlin said he has full faith in Springer, operation manager and part owner. You don't want an idiot in there, Fremlin said. He knows I'm fairly knowledgeable about business. We're a good fit for him. Sounds like if they were in debt, then maybe he didn't know how to run the business properly. The issue now is gold for rings. It's so pricey. Yeah, gold is expensive. This most expensive it's ever been. I remember back in the 90s when silver was $5 an ounce Canadian and $330 for an ounce for gold. I wish I would have bought back then. Years ago in your country, there was a guy fired from a company that dealt with diamonds. Next day, he went back with a box and a microwave in it. With a microwave in it, placed the microwave in the kitchen, and then filled the box with diamonds and walked out of the building. There you go. That'll teach you to fire people. Also, Alt F4. Yeah. The old standby. What's the quick keys for this? Oh, just Alt F4. Funny part, it took them 3 days to realize the diamonds were stolen. Where'd the diamonds go? I don't know. Prior to the pandemic, Springer, which had about 150 on the payroll, sunk some $7.5 million in upgrades to its hangar and runway. Then COVID came along and others' orders dried up. It was a perfect storm, Fremlin said. Yeah, well, the only reason it was like that was because of the reaction by the government to the pandemic. That's all it was. If they wouldn't have reacted the way they did, things would have been just fine. Fremlin encourages anyone interested in a career with Springer to go to the company's website for more information or to apply. There you go. These guys need people. Excuse me. This one, U.S. faces a deficit of 6 million workers in less than a decade. And you can see, I'm assuming this is all the sectors that need people. Yeah, then you come back into the server and are like, man, I tried that keybind, but it's bugged. It's crashing in the game. Have you tried Control F4 or Control W? From Bloomberg, U.S. employers will confront a shortage of some 6 million workers within a decade, according to a new study. I don't know why they need a new study. I'm sure a study from the year 2000 would have been just fine, or 2005, or 2010, or 2015. I'm sure if they would have looked at the demographics, they would have saw that, hey, look, the people are going to age out in this year. They're going to have we're going to have a big glut of people retiring and nobody to fill their jobs. But people are so dumb in the government, they can't figure it out to look at demographics and see what's happening. Anyways. You wonder what all falls under the mining heading? Probably not just coal, includes lithium. Yeah, anything you pull out of the ground, I would think, Veritex. Oh, here's a new one. A combination of retirements, and we knew that was coming, mismatches between workers and available jobs, and a decline in workforce participation among men is set to drive the gap. Are you sure it's workforce participation among men? Are you sure? Maybe if you'd stop your bigoted hiring practices of only taking women in jobs, maybe there wouldn't be a decline in workforce participation. I'm looking at you, DEI and ESG. You will be the death of any kind of workforce. They needed a new study because they wanted to keep people employed in the Office of Study and Procurement. Yeah, you're probably right. Somebody had to justify their job somehow. According to analysis by Lightcast, a provider of labor market data based on expected growth in the population, expects a 6 million shortfall of workers by 2032 compared with the current level. Over the next 5 to 7 years, our labor pool's growth will not match our population, said Ron Hetrick, an economist at Lightcast. We will increasingly have more consumers than producers, driving price hikes and product shortages. One reason is that older workers are no longer driving the expansion of U.S. jobs, as they were for the 2 pre-pandemic decades. The study found that out of 5 million workers who left the workforce since 2020, about 4/5 of them were over the age of 55. Once again, people, demographics, look it up. The U.S. government doesn't look past the next continuing resolution. Yeah, exactly. Oh, we need another loan from the Federal Reserve to keep the government going. Sign that $1 trillion bill. In 2027, the number of Americans who turn 65, historically a typical retirement age, will exceed the number that turns 16 for the first time, meaning there might not be enough potential new entrants into the workforce to replace retirees. No kidding. I've been saying this for over, 90 of my streams. Another looming problem is the imbalance between available workers and the kind of work that's in demand. The labor force is projected to become younger, more educated, and more female. Sorry. Whoever wrote that. My God, come on. But those groups aren't necessarily a match for the industries expected to need more labor. Yes, women don't want to do heavy labor. Get it through your thick heads. You can be like, we gotta hire more women. Yeah, okay. They're not gonna come to heavy labor jobs. Like, come on. Expected to need more labor, including healthcare, construction, and trades such as plumbing and car maintenance. Or auto mechanics. You can say that as well. There's a trade. You're an AST, an automotive service technician, not car maintenance. Come on, Bloomberg. The existence of silly putty implies there is also serious putty. What is that called? I think you might have a market there, Kitty Bear. I think you should invent serious putty. It should just not do the stuff that silly putty does. You can't bend it straight, stretch it, pull it into shapes. She would just be like a rock. And this means that many trades will see labor costs go up as needs aren't going down. So plumbers, masons, electricians, appliance repair, mechanics, car repairs go. Yep. Yeah, Veritex. Women may sign up to run the trash truck that has the robotic trash can scoop arm. Yeah. Okay, they can pull a lever, but they're not going to be the ones doing the heavy lifting. Women don't want to wear arm condoms. Are you telling me there's not a lot of veterinary in the large veterinary? What do you call it? What do you call it, Tits? What you do? I know you're into the large animal veterinary. Yeah, you use those in calving. I knew where you're going with that. Serious putty is a telnet terminal typically used for SSH access to remote machines. Oh. Man, was I way off. Thanks, Veritex. I was way out to lunch on that one. Many prime-age men are disappearing from the job market. That's partly due to an increase in substance abuse and incarceration. What the hell? Where are they getting this from? Prime-age men are disappearing from the market due to an increase in substance abuse and incarceration, which between them are responsible for taking 4.6 million Americans out of the labor force. 4.6 million out of how many? What's there? 360 million Americans now? Large breed. Thank you, Tits. Sorry about that. It is C4. That's pretty serious, Kitty Bear. Yeah, C4 is serious putty. There's no laughter about that one. The Lightcast research found at a time when there's a rising number of openings in critical male-dominated skilled trade jobs. The majority of drug-related deaths or addictions occur among young men, according to the report, which also notes that alcohol is responsible for some 232 million missed work days. Don't just blame that on men. Women get drunk on the weekends too. Don't just hang that on men, you bunch of idiots over at Bloomberg. The equivalent of 112,000 full-time workers missing for a whole year. Since the pandemic, the number of people in the U.S. who don't have a job and aren't actively looking for one has risen from around 95 million to 100 million. So it's only risen 5 million people. And that's probably because the government was paying people to stay home, and people could earn more staying home than they could at a job. So it's the government's own damn fault. Right? You make people weak by making them suckle at your teat. and they don't have any motivation to go out and make things better for themselves, when really people should try to go out there and make things better for themselves. At least that's what I was taught and grown up with. Try to get out there, work hard, and make things better for yourself and your loved ones. Take care of your family. Don't be a sponge. Yeah, it's a load of crap. Yep. Import immigrant workers, cost savings in many corporate eyes, but you get the training you pay for. Yep. That's why there's more accidents. You know, they get hurt. Oh, well, you're undocumented, or you're not, you're not covered by anything because you're working under the table. Well, I'm going to hire the next guy that's waiting in line. Yeah, you've never been drunk. Who comes to work drunk? Nobody anymore. Nobody comes to work drunk. You know, they're going to put you in a substance abuse program if you come to work drunk. Like, it's idiotic. And never mind the managers, your own coworkers will be like, man, get out of here. You know, you're not working with us. You're too dangerous. They won't even let you out on the facility floor. C4 is weird stuff. You can safely light it on fire and cook food on it. Oh, I didn't know. Kitty Bear, you're a sponge? That's okay, but you're our sponge, Kitty Bear. You're Das Nederlander sponge. Which is okay. If you are that intoxicated, you are more likely to not show up for work. Yeah, exactly. You used to come home from work drunk. Oh, man. Drinking on the job? They let you do that? Might be different in Europe. In addition to Park and Bighorn counties, you now have to go to Teton County because their only large breed vet retired this. You are one busy guy, Tits. Seriously. Large breed vet. You are just all over the place. But there you go. Get into large breed veterinary, and you can help out Tits in the Teton County. They need one. Their guy just retired. Let's finish this up here. Immigrants are likely to be needed to take up some of the slack from U.S.-born prime-age men. Who's to say that those guys aren't going to be drunks and miss work and, not want to work? They're so dumb. Oh yeah, immigrants will do it because they're not going to go out and get drunk and all that kind of stuff. No drinking after the job. Boss would buy drinks after work. Oh yeah, okay. Already some industries would struggle to function without them. Lightcast found that 18% of healthcare workers come from outside the U.S., including 1 in 4 doctors and 1 in 5 registered nurses. Another option that's been touted to fill the gap is artificial intelligence. But the Lightcast researchers are skeptical that AI and automation can fill the kind of practical hands-on roles that the economy will need. In fact, the study finds that industries most in need of workers are precisely the ones where AI is least likely to replace human. Yes, I am in that industry. AI cannot go around and repair and rebuild machinery out in the field the way I can do this. So up yours, AI. You're not taking my skilled trade away from me. Maybe you can flip a burger, but you can't come and repair pumps, compressors, troubleshoot things in a timely fashion. I can do that. So that's Bloomberg. What a poorly written and idiotic article written by Bloomberg. Or worse, they're meth marijuana users. Ugh, no thanks. Kitty is probably working in a beer tasting factory. You have to wonder if lack of workers may also see a corresponding decrease in demand due to fewer consumers. I don't know. I mean, the population isn't going down, and people are always going to need plumbers and such for things that happen that go on in their houses, HVAC and all that kind of stuff. AI is going to make parts of job responsibilities better, but there are many aspects of it. It's a long way from replacing. Yes. Robbie the robot doesn't wear an on condom either. Danger, danger, Will Robinson. I can't fit my arm up this cow's ass. Baseline for Bloomberg. Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Veritax. I don't read much Bloomberg at all. Working with meth user is nuts. Pot is less, but it's also not safe working with you as a health risk. You can't be around people all day. Bloomberg's trash. Yeah, I agree. The last one I got here, Skilled Trades Advisory Council earns non-profit status to address labor crisis in U.S. and Canada. You were shoveling shit all day for a summer. Oh, man. Whew. That's rough. The Skilled Trades Advisory Council has announced it officially earned a non-profit status, a significant milestone in its mission to combat the ongoing skilled labor crisis in the United States and Canada. Founded in August 2023, STACK brings together industry leaders who are leveraging their resources, expertise, and networks to promote skilled trades as high-paying, honorable, and essential career paths. These trades include electrical, plumbing, HVAC, janitorial, construction, and other critical sectors in need of rejuvenated workforce. As the demand for skilled trades continues to outpace supply, the work of STACK has never been more critical, said Rob Almond, CEO of Nest and founding advisor of STACK. Achieving non-profit status empowers us to further our mission, create meaningful partnerships, and drive initiatives that will elevate these careers and ensure the future of our workforce. In its first year, STACK has made significant strides in elevating the conversation around skilled trades. The organization has successfully advocated for the importance of these careers and united industry leaders to drive change. Key achievements include collaborations with high-profile advocates like Mike Rowe, skilled trades programming with the Philadelphia Phillies of Major League Baseball, and alliances with leading organizations such as Explore the Trades, Women in HVAC-R, NOIC, Philadelphia Foundation, SPECS, and Connects FM. The urgency for skilled trades careers is underscored by the report from Associated Builders and Contractors, which indicates the construction industry alone will need to hire an additional 500,000 workers in 2024 to meet labor demands. Founding STACK advisors include the following. It's all these guys. Get out to the junior highs and high schools. Start extolling the virtues of being in the skilled trades. Let them know what it's all about. That's what you got to do. You got to get the next generation. You got legally declared insane after a bad day and the boss said something I took really bad. He ended hospitalized and you got locked up. You haven't done real work since. Ooh. Damn. You gotta watch what you say around Kitty Bear. All right. Anyways, that's it for that. Next up is it's picture time. It's picture time. I got pictures, guys. Once again, if you guys have any trades questions, throw them up in the chat. I'll try to answer them the best I can. I do have, my background is working in fabrication shops, paint factory, the waste industry, and now chemical plant. So I do know some things. And I have been out in I have been in the trades since 1996. So it's been almost 30 years for me. First up, you guys might wonder, or you might not, you never know. You probably wonder to yourself, how do they tell how pure hydrogen sulfide is? And I would tell you, you know what? We send a sample to the laboratory. And you'd be like, wow, how do you do that? Well, we use one of these. This is a sample bottle. It's got valves on both ends, as you can see. And you just hook it up in line to one of our sample points, and you just let the liquid hydrogen sulfide flow through, and then you just close one end and wait for it to fill up, and then you close the other end, and that's it. You've got yourself your sample of hydrogen sulfide to send to the laboratory. And then their report comes back stating, yes, it is 99.95% pure, which I believe is what our commercial grade is set at, 99.95. We can get up to 99.9. Like I've seen it as high as 99.98. Sorry, commercial is 99.5, yeah. And high grade is 99.98. So we can get up to our ultra pure, but that's probably as high as we can get. They lick it. Yeah. Yeah, if they want a if they want to go down for the count. Is 10 gauge 3-strand Romex sufficient for a 40-foot run with a 650 watt load on it primarily in the summer? 10 gauge is pretty. I'm not electrical, I'm more mechanical, but I do know the smaller you go for gauge, the more it can stand up to it. And it's only 650 watts, but 40-foot run, you have to watch out for voltage drop. If you have too long of 40 feet isn't that bad, actually. If you have like 100 foot, you're going to have voltage drop. So you just have to check at the end what your voltage is. But 10 gauge is pretty big. I think, most electrical cords are like 16 gauge on average. You can do 14 and 12. 12, I think, is even big enough for what you're going to use. But 10 gauge, I would say, yes, you would be fine for a 40-foot run, David. But you'd have to talk to a proper electrician. I'm just saying what comes to me from experience, that 10 gauge is big wire. So you should be fine. It shouldn't get too hot or anything like that, especially if it's 40 feet away. And it's only 650 watts. Most heaters are like 1500 watts. And then that's the only thing you could have on that breaker. But 650 watts should be fine. Okay, science. To what is the cleanest stuff you can make explode or burn? Water. I've seen people can burn water. Yeah, there's a close-up of the sample bottle. I was taking this for cataloging purposes. I have to have all the serial numbers because at times where they want these to be, pressure tested, we only put about 260 psi in them, and they're good to 3,000. So I think we're good in that regard. This was me trying to get a picture of some of the writing on here. Hey, I got it right, eh, Kitty Bear? Awesome. What else do I got on here? Oh. The title of the stream was More Manpower, and when you're having a shutdown, you need manpower. You need people on site, boots on the ground, ready to work. There was a big discussion about that today, about, hey management, we need more people at the start of shutdown. You need a glut of people to come in and do the jobs. And then as the jobs get done, you can stop bringing them in on overtime. Because obviously management doesn't want to pay overtime. But you need that initial rush of people to be on site. Yeah, you're going to pay overtime, but you're only going to pay it for maybe 2-3 days. And then once the projects get done, once work gets done, then you can be like, okay, yeah, you don't have to come in, you don't have to come in, you don't have to come in. I have to come in every day, so it doesn't matter to me. But I am getting overtime, and I am not an overtime fan. I don't like it. But this is what I was working on today. This is the low pressure end of our compressor removed with the valves taken out of it. And the faces need cleaned up with a wire wheel. So I had to wire wheel all the faces, all the insides, all the outside. You burn hydrogen with oxygen, it becomes water. Yep. It is what the Hindenburg explosion was. They used hydrogen instead. Yes. That's because nobody would sell them helium. And I believe hydrogen was easier to make. There's another section. There's a distance piece here. That face needed cleaning. This face needed cleaning. Because you put new gaskets on every time. You take it apart. You don't reuse the gaskets because you don't want a leak. You don't want people to die of hydrogen sulfide exposure. So you put in new gaskets every time. Same with this face here on this flange. You clean it up, put a new gasket on it, and you're good. There's a side shot of it. This pipe right here is for cooling. We have a glycol mixture that goes through and cools the jackets in the compressor so they don't overheat. Trump says no tax on overtime. It would help you, but would be great for trade. Yeah, tits. Man, that would be awesome if they didn't tax overtime. That'd be great. Yeah, and you can look down in here. These are where the valves sit. These are the intake on the top and discharges on the bottom. No, we don't sandblast it, David. We'd get too much debris everywhere. We just wire wheel. Just the die grinder with the wire wheel attachment does a very good job, cleans everything out. You can get inside there, get into the grooves where all the valves sit. There's what the gasket looks like when you start pulling them off. They don't last very well. So you end up with just bits and pieces. There's the other side. So this face has lots of studs sticking out of it. But you can see the remnants of the silicone they use. So they put a gasket on, but they use silicone to help seal it as well. We don't want any leaks. So you're always going to have lots of silicone around the sealing faces. Silicone and gaskets. Seems to work well for us. Yeah, there's the other flange face. There's the piston rod for the compressor. It's only got the one piston on it right now, but there's supposed to be two on there. The other one was taken off. So this is the high pressure one because it's smaller in diameter. The low pressure one is a lot larger in diameter. And you put it on the jack stands like this so it supports it and doesn't bend in the middle. You don't want your rod bending. That's the worst thing. Helium was too expensive and hydrogen is real easy to make. Anyone can do it at home. Though easy to make it, dangerous. Yeah, you can make it. It is dangerous. Here's the the valve covers and the cover plates for the side, the distance pieces and such. Those also have the green and blue are the gaskets for them. So once again, replace those. These guys have aluminum rings that go around them for sealing as well. Right? Aluminum's soft, it'll crush. Fill in the any other gaps there. So this was a little thing we got the scaffolders to make up for a bench, so a workbench. So there's some of the tops that go in the lids. These things down here. They have these parts that go on the top, the caps. And we had tools up there. These boxes now contain all the valves that are going to be sent away for rebuild. There's the inside. This is the high pressure end. And the valves sit on this seat right here. And tomorrow I'm going to have to clean them out. This is not cleaned yet. I have to get the wire wheel and the die grinder and clean this out. So all this yellow sulfur This will all be cleaned out of there tomorrow. And this surface here will be all clean, so everything sits nicely and snugly in place. Your dad did it once as a kid. It was one of the funniest stories your granddad told you. There's the other one. So yeah, you can tell all this sulfur needs to be cleaned out of there. There's what the valves look like. We didn't clean them. We're going to send them to the rebuilders just like that so they can see how the valves are for buildup. There's a little bit of sulfur buildup in them. There's some other ones. These look a little better. Yeah, there's still some, a little bit of buildup, but I think they lasted pretty well. They did all right. Oh, and this is me here. This video is, we're hooking up glycol hoses because the way you create pressure in one of the vessels is to use glycol, heated glycol. So you hook them up to this, and it goes to the vessel, and that way you're able to put pressure into the vessel. You heat it up, it makes the heat makes the pressure, and you're able to now move that through pressure differential around the facility. So that's how you do that, which I thought was a pretty good idea. The only thing I didn't think was a good idea is that we're doing it with hoses rather than hard piping. Like we should hard pipe this in. There's no reason to have hoses rolling across the floor. As you can see, like here, the hoses are back there. They connect back there. Then they run along the floor. And they could have hard piped this. They could have went up and over and around the door and connected to it right here. And they just have some valves that you have to open or close and lock closed or whatever. But oh, the ceramic gaskets ever come in? Tits. I don't think we're going to order those. You're talking about the ceramic seals, right? I don't think we're going to order those. I think we're going to order a whole new valve because it's going to be $4,600 for both of them or $8,000 for a valve. And I asked my engineer about it, and he says, you'll throw that valve away before you wear out those seals. So he looked the valve over and he said the sealing face on the flanges are just about done for. So it's more economical for us to buy a completely new valve rather than buy a whole new just set of seals. Your dad filled several trash bags with hydrogen and placed them in the sewer. Most sewers are no wider than a bucket, especially in small towns where your dad lived at the time. Oh no. This is not going to go well, Kitty Bear. This is not going to go well. All right, I'll check and see what I got for some more pictures here. I know there's more. I thought I put more new ones on here. The old USB drive. Yeah, you were talking about these, right, Tits? Hang on, These guys are cost $4,600 for two. After he lit a fuse and dropped the cover on it in the whole street, all the manhole covers got launched. Your dad got so scared he ran home and locked himself in the bedroom. Yikes. Yeah, special seals. I think we're going to go with a completely brand new valve. At least I think that's... Look at that. Yeah, that sealing face isn't much longer for this. It's not going to last much longer, so that's the way I look at it. If sealing face, your flanges aren't going to last long. Just get a whole new valve. Don't waste time, especially if it costs like half of a new one. Let's see what else we got here for you guys. Yeah, those are the ones, eh? Okay. I guess I don't have as much pictures for you as I thought. I'll take some more tomorrow, though. And I've been working, an hour and a half overtime every day because I have to. Just getting these jobs done. We're severely undermanned here. There's only 2 of us that are millwrights there. The rest are operators, and a lot of them don't know how to rebuild pumps and rebuild a lot of the stuff that we have to do. So it's up to me and my apprentice to do a lot of the rebuild stuff. And I'm going to be at it tomorrow by myself because my apprentice, it's his day off. He works 12-hour shifts, so he won't be back until Tuesday when we got to try to assemble get that compressor taken care of, rebuilt and all that kind of stuff. Granddad found out when his dad didn't open the door or take his beating. He got so mad he kicked through the oak door with his bare foot. My dad saw his foot, he grabbed the belt. Yeah, back in the days when you got a freaking cuff up the side of the head, or you got the strap or whatever it was. Those were the days when you had good discipline. They turned us into the people we are now. Way better than this new generation. Yeah, I'm sorry guys. I don't think I have anything new to show you other than those pictures. But like I say, I'm going to be taking more as I go along. You'll see some, I'll show you like in the sulfur pit and all that. You can see that. Hey, Eris, over on Rumble. Nice to see you. What's discipline? Yeah, exactly. What's discipline? I don't know. Bet Robbie can't rebuild compressors? Probably not. Yeah, Tits, was it the willow switch for you? Fetch me a switch, boy. Yeah, it was, those were the days. You did wrong. You did wrong. And you were afraid to do wrong because you knew what was coming. You were getting the spank, man. You were getting spanked, and that was it. But yeah, Eris, over on Rumble. Appreciate you stopping by there. I was just showing some pictures. Pictures of some of the air compressor working on. I can throw it back up there just to give you an idea. This is it here. It says LP C1B. So LP, low pressure, and then C1B is the machinery number, right? So every piece of machinery, valve, and everything, it'll have a letter and a number to designate what it is. C, obviously, compressor number 1B. So we have a compressor number 1A. And then P for pumps, V for vessels, all that kind of good stuff. That way you can differentiate what piece of machinery needs to be repaired. And you can find out in the maintenance program, what parts you need to use and all that good stuff. Hey, Eris, there you are over on YouTube now. Right on. But yeah, this thing needs to be cleaned up. So there's parts of it that were brought inside to be cleaned. A little bit of wire wheeling to clean off all the debris, make them nice and clean. so that they can go back together without any interference from foreign debris. Most of that would be like sulfur or silicone, stuff like that. You want to get that out of there and make it so that it all goes together with no leaks. When it came to discipline, your parents were true master craftsmen. Hey. Eris over on Twitch now? Evil Eris. Here to ruin Eris and other channels. Tits, I've more than one time, I think my mother broke a wooden spoon over my ass. So she broke a wooden spoon. And the old man, he'd use anything. You know, majority of the time it was the belt, but you know, sometimes it was like back of his hand. You know, just we could get into some really dark stuff when it came to discipline. I had a rough childhood. So yeah. But yeah, there's what one of the gaskets looks like after you manage to scrape it off, because it's held on with silicone. It comes off in pieces. There's a little closer look at the face there. You can see all the silicone residue. Just needs the good going over. Wire wheel takes care of it in a flash. Over you go. Make it nice and smooth, and you're ready to go. Same with those parts. Each face gets cleaned up. And once that's done, it's ready to go back together again. That's the rod and piston for the compressor. There's the parts. If your mom broke a wooden spoon on you, you'd have to carve a new one. Yeah. Oh, guess you busted one, eh, Mom? Well, I guess I'll carve you another one. I'm going to make this one out of balsa wood. No oak for you. There's the inside of the high pressure side, where the valves sit. They've been taken out, and now it's just the seat. So it needs cleaned up, Eris. There's the other side of it. And there's on the bottom as well, but I didn't want to lay on the ground and look up, just to look on the bottom side. But I will tomorrow. I'm not going to take a picture, but I will be working on my back tomorrow. Because it's the compressor is like a foot off the ground. Your mother used a 150-year-old cast iron frying pan. Most of the time aimed at your head, until one day the handle broke. Yikes. Nothing worse than sanding the instrument of your destruction. Yeah. This thing has been running. This thing is from 1967. It's built like a tank. Like, look how thick that steel is there. And that's just for the head. This thing runs and runs and runs. And while we were getting our new compressor installed, this thing had to run and run and run. Just sharing, glad you don't have a kick or Trovo. You gonna keep you busy? Mechanic so many channels. Well, you know, I'm out there. I'm out there on Kick and Rumble and Twitch and YouTube because, you know, I have my bases covered. Why not? Broadcast to as many as possible. Hopefully people come by. And there's the valves themselves. I was showing how much buildup they had. Some of them a little more than others. That's sulfur buildup. There's some more. I've got them in boxes because they're getting ready to be sent away for rebuild. I can't rebuild them. It's better the people that made them for us rebuild them because they can see how much it's worn and whether the inner rings are doing a good job. or whether they're prematurely wearing. Oh, okay. Little couple videos I took about where things get connected. Not so good. It's very dark behind there. I should have had my flashlight out. But I was looking as to where those hoses connected. They use hydraulic connections, which is fine. All right. So yeah, that should be around it for tonight. I'm just start wrapping up the stream, everybody. Please do me a favor if you can, hit the like button, subscribe, or follow, whichever platform you're following me on. Spread the word if you can. Let people know, hey, there's this guy. He talks about the trades, and he shows pictures and videos and talks about how important it is that people get into the trades now more than ever. But thanks for coming by, everybody. And by everybody, I mean, David Glenn, Tits and Ray Guns, of course. It's always nice to have you here. Godzillionaire, everyone's favorite kaiju. Kitty Bear, of course. I like hearing your stories, Kitty Bear. DJ Ronnie G, Veritax. I know there was a few more here. And of course, Eris. It's nice to see you too. Hopping in here. And over on Rumble. Now you think about a Breaker family tradition. You broke the family heirloom. The family direct descendant naming tradition is ending with you. First descendant ends with you. Wow. Yeah, Kitty Bear. You're pulling out all the stops on your end there. All right, everyone. Like I said, please, like, subscribe, spread the word. There's other channels out there that for people that I personally watch and enjoy. They have good content, like Pacific 414 on YouTube. Also, DJ Ronnie G. If you like tech, astronomy, and turtles, you should check out DJ Ronnie G. Your brother brought burgers. Gotta go. Have fun. Take care. Thanks, Eris. Hopefully see you next time. Kitty Bear's not having kids. Okay. There's also Brandon the anime guy. There's Carl at the RNG podcast. Tomby, the bloke across the pond over in Britain. Tomby's a good fella. I like watching his stuff. Just like Charles Tucker III. There's also Angry Canadian, Nerdpoil Lifeform, and guys that aren't streaming much, Whoopa and Blaine, but hopefully soon. I want to see those guys back in action. And let's not forget Punkwaddle, everyone's favorite penguin. He has his, weekly ponderances he has, usually released on Saturday. And, you can also find him on Wednesday nights at Floral From Under a Rock's channel and on Snowdub's channel. Coming up with you guys, as long as I'm not working, Saturday is Retro Game Day. I'm playing some brain games. Last time it was crosswords, anagrams, word search, just a break from RPGs and, something to exercise my brain. I'm hoping that you guys will join me there. I'll try to find some other good games to play that are good for the mind. Exercise the old mind there. Sunday anime chat. Oh man, it is going to be the 5th Sunday. So once again, the caveat being if I'm not working. If I'm working on Sunday, I'm sorry, no streams. But I should have an open stream where I can invite people on and we can chat about their favorite beginner anime or anime that got them into watching anime. So I think I should do something like that. And then once again, back around to Tuesday, more pictures of Shutdown, more talk about the trades and how important it is that people get into the skilled trades. They are needed now more than ever. They're very lucrative. You can make a good living of it, and you're always going to be in demand. So take it from me. Get into the skilled trades, and you'll keep that skill with you for the rest of your life. Last week's extravaganza. There you go. Thanks, DJ. What do you call Punkwaddle when he's sweaty and smelly? Punkwaddle. Skunkwaddle. Oh no. Punkwaddle now offers a bonus video every week. Okay, nice. So go check out that bonus video. DJ put the link in the chat. Thank you, DJ. And David, caught you eating a sandwich. Can't post links. That's all right. DJ's got you covered. It's the result of drunkwaddle procreation. Oh no. Anyways, I had fun tonight. I hope you guys had fun. It was great. I hope to see you guys on Saturday. Hopefully I'm not working. I really don't want to work on Saturdays. I only get 2 days off a week, and I don't want to spend more time at work. I want to spend less time at work. And I know you guys can probably relate to that. But anyways, I really appreciate you guys coming out, spending time with me, and I hope you had a good time. So until next time, everyone, on Saturday, when I'm playing some retro games, I've been Pop, and I am signing off.